It wasn't easy switching to a new school again. I'd only been in Bloomington for a couple of years, and Bloomington was nothing like the rural town I lived in before. By the time I started going to the project school in 5th grade, I had already gone to 3 other schools and lived in 4 different houses. Immediately after switching to this new school, my parents were unable to give me a ride, and so I had to walk to the downtown Monroe County Public Library after school. It was only about 5 blocks of walking, but I was completely unfamiliar to downtown, as well as most of the school. When I walked to the library from my school for the first time, I remember thinking about how I'd only ever been there briefly when my parents were checking out books. I passed by and remarked at those iconic limestone bears before entering through the automatic doors. A blast of cold air hit me right away. I briefly shivered before becoming quite cozy with the new temperature and walked down the stairs. I honestly had no idea where to go next, but I had heard that there are computers available for free in the children's area. When I walked into the children's area, I immediately recognized a few people from my school, which was definitely comforting. They got me set up on a computer, and I quickly started playing games with the other people nearby. Though I was in a completely new environment, it was comforting to immediately find this degree of community. Occasionally, I ran into some technical difficulties, and the staff in the children's area were especially willing to help, and all quite lively too. You can tell with a single look or by the sound of their voice that they truly enjoy their jobs. As I became older, the people I usually hung out with around the computer seemed more and more juvenile, and I started bringing my laptop to the library and playing games on it in a different area, isolated. Like all of my peers, I was waiting until I was old enough to go to the teen space, called the ground floor. Each day after school, students from my school wait outside the ground floor until it opens, and then they rush in and rent out different equipment like the Nintendo Switch. It was exciting to be a part of that rush, and the anticipation of entering always made the experience more meaningful. The ground floor is alive, even more so than the rest of the library is. Everybody there has this obvious positive energy that almost changes the way the room looks. There's such an abundance of fun things to do there, and the staff are adolescents at heart. They just understand the generations really well. That's why it came as a surprise to me to find out that the teen space had only been around since 2014. The history of the library is honestly a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. Believe it or not, the story of MCPL starts all the way back in the year 1820, when the city used funds to put a small book collection into a small room inside the courthouse. This small library slowly grew until it was moved inside the central school building in 1894. In 1915, the Carnegie Corporation, which built 2,500 total libraries, promised to contribute $31,000 to the construction of a library on a lot at 6th and Washington Street. This library was fully constructed 3 years later in 1918, and that building now houses the Monroe County History Center. Between 1968 and 1971, the downtown library that we all know and love was first built. At the time of opening, the library offered 100,000 books and served 25,000 patrons. MCPL created its online computer system for borrowing books in 1982. The downtown library was expanded from 37,000 square feet to 137,000 square feet in 1997. And in 2014, the downtown library was renovated to add new spaces and services for patrons, including the Teen Space and Digital Creativity Center, both on the first floor. In 2020, the 200-year anniversary of the library was celebrated, and a majority of fees for patrons were removed. It's really hard to imagine that the library has existed in some form for 200 years. The library isn't just a place where you read books. It's a place where you meet people and be a part of the community and attend events. There's a place for everyone here. It makes you feel safe because you have so many positive connections. You have friends that you can trust, and there's such a warm environment that you know nobody can or will hurt you here. I think every town should have a place like MCPL. This is my sense of place.